close out the first half of 2024 on a high note. NASDAQ 100 is on pace for its best month of the year, and 3 of the mega caps hitting record highs today. Joining me now for a look at the second half setup is Doug Clinton of Deepwater Asset Management. It's good to have you back.
Good to be back, Scott.
So what do we make of, let's start with Nvidia first. Okay, as I said, it's dominating the conversation. I'm sure people are getting tired of talking about it, but it's impossible to avoid. What do we make of the stock price action of late? What does it tell you?
I think it's a healthy reaction to what has been a parabolic move. I mean, you can't help but look at the chart. You look at the stock up over 100% year to date, and it's now one of those trillion-dollar companies that you just talked about, Scott. I think it's healthy that we're seeing these drawdowns of 10, 15%. And if you actually look back at the dot-com boom, you look back at another era where we did have this technologically driven bull market, you had several periods where the market pulled back 10, 15, even 20, 25%. And I think that's part of the adjustment as fast money comes into some of these names, not really caring that much about the actual earnings growth, the actual product, caring more about the momentum, and then they wash out. I think we're going to see more of those things happen in this AI tech boom, which we still think is going to last for another few years.
It's funny, you talk about, market volatility in those periods of time. We've had next to no market volatility, right? I think I saw the stat was something like 330 some odd days since the S&P has had a one-day move of 2% or more down. I mean, does that shock you?
We've been spoiled, I think so far by the AI trade. It's felt too easy, I think, in a sense. And I do think we're due maybe for a readjustment period where people start to think about, and we've seen more talk about this, is the CapEx that's going into AI right now, over $100 billion a year, close to $200 billion into these chips and building out data centers. Can we get economic value from that in the future? That discussion feels like it's heating up right now. We still think the answer is yes, but I do think there is a timeline mismatch that we have to manage as investors. I don't think you're going to see the return on this huge CapEx expenditure that we're having in AI right now next year or even the year after. I think it's a 3 to 5 year picture that you have to get comfortable with for these hyperscalers and others who are building out these data centers to really make their money back on these Nvidia chips.
Do you think there's too much euphoria in the market around all of this? I mean, I had Eric Jackson on the program yesterday who said the market cap of Nvidia could go to $6 trillion. It could trade at $250 a share, so essentially a double in every way, shape, and form from here, and the valuation will go over 70.
I don't think there's too much euphoria about AI in general. I think for Nvidia, that feels like a more aggressive price target. As I hear it, I think if that's supported by earnings, that could happen. I don't know that I see earnings where we might double again in terms of what's being spent on chips in the next year or so. I think that might be something that's more reasonable. You look out 2 or 3 years, that feels more probable. But I think AI broadly, again, Micron talked about this actually last quarter, where they're in the heart of it. They said, we feel that we are in the early innings of a multi-year growth phase here driven by AI. And I still think that's true. I still think you want to be exposed to AI hardware in the public markets. And at Deepwater, we also invest in the private markets. I think you can find good AI software companies in the private markets to invest in as well if you have exposure to that.
I don't want to blast through Micron too quickly. I mean, you own the stock, correct? They're going to report in overtime. Chips have been dicey lately, right? We're not just talking about Nvidia. You look at the price action in the SMH and a lot of names within it, they haven't traded all that well. How important is this tonight?
I think it will be potentially a volatile move for Micron. And again, I think about it in timescales. In the shorter term, because we just talked about some of this fast money that I think has gotten really excited about the AI trade, I think it's hard to predict if Micron will be able to deliver enough that fast money investor will want to stay in the stock and bid it up tomorrow. If you're a longer-oriented investor, as we are, I still think that we agree with Micron. We're in this early innings phase. We think they're still going to see increasing volumes and pricing for the next several quarters. And as they continue to see those better volumes and pricings, I think the stock can still work.
Doug, we will see what happens. We'll talk to you on the other side of it. That's Doug Clinton.